Welcome to Kempton Park, where runners are in the paddock far open. The first of 8 races this evening, and this is the Unibet, a proudly sporting women in racing apprentice handicap, part of the Racing Excellence series for apprentices that at the start of the season hadn't ridden 20 winners or more. Number 3, Forge Valley Lad, is ridden by Carl McHugh, and this horse needs to find a little bit of form from somewhere. It's been a while since Forge Valley Lad has been in the winners' enclosure. Represents David Simcock. Good scoremaster, needs to break a little bit sharper from the gates, but for now needs to find a little bit of form. Following him, number 4, Moab, for Henrietta Knight and Kian Horgan. Kian has had 17 winners over in Ireland. Interesting that you imagine Brendan Power and Henrietta Knight have brought him over to ride some of their runners this evening. He's an ex-Joseph O'Brien individual that had a 4th and a 3rd at Dundalk when trained over in Ireland. He's dropped £5 in a couple of handicaps, and that was his best effort yet when finishing 6th at Chelmsford. That was behind Shaheen Sakar. Number 7 is Early Morning Dew. This one ridden by Archie Young, who's had 19 winners to date so far for Jim and Susie Best. He had a good campaign last season, and on his return from 434 days ago, he's behind both Moab and Shaheen Sakar last time out at Chelmsford. He's probably going to need the run again, you would imagine. Main horse, though, number 1, our top weight, God of Fire. He represents Dan and Claire Kubler. 6 from 15 that yard in the past fortnight. 19 winners already. He's a pound well in on the back of his success at Beverley the other day. Won by 2.5 lengths. He'd won his maiden at Wolverhampton for previous yard Stuart Williams. He's got a new mark of 78. He's running in a 0 to 70 this evening, so he's well treated. And interesting enough, connections have entered him again at Windsor on Monday. A win today, and he wouldn't have a penalty. While jockey Liam Wright, he had his 24th winner yesterday at Lingfield. So the most experienced rider on board, the best handicapped horse, God of Fire, understandably, is odds on. Quick look at number 2. 2 is Beau French. He hadn't been seen for 1,125 days prior to his Goodwood return. He did carry his head a little bit high in the run. You can see he's very much on toes in the paddock. Anna Gibson will be riding for Gary and Josh Moore. And finally, number 9, the Bay Warrior. Joe Bradnam claims off 5 for Mark Usher's 4-time winner. Won over course since back in January, off the same mark this evening. But he is struggling to get his head back in front. Recent efforts have been a little bit uninspiring. And the only one we've not seen is number 6, Shaheen Sakar. That horse had a couple of these behind him in the past. But all in all, a great opportunity for God of Fire to make it 2 from 3 for the Kublers.
Yeah, thanks, James. Certainly is. Very good opportunity for God of Fire. Liam Wright riding for the Kublers is at 1 to 2. 11 to 2 is Beau French. Shaheen Sakar, 7 to 1. The Bay Warrior 14s. Moab is 20s. Henrietta Knight is there in the parade ring. Forge Valley Lad, 25 to 1. Early Morning Dew is 33s. This is the 405. Apprentice handicap over Oman 3 furlongs. And Rachel Candelora is alongside. I mean, do you regard it as simple as a 1 to 2 shot here with God of Fire?
It's an apprentice race, so no. Because those are the question marks in this particular race. But Liam Wright is one of the most solid apprentices in this particular lineup. As James said, he's actually gone over the minimum number of rides, as he's had 4 winners so far once the beginning of the quote-unquote British flat season has started, which is the 8th of May, including yesterday. But this horse, I mean, if you hold on, he should win. He likes to go from the front. He's drawn 9, which is not ideal, as Moab also likes to go from the front, and he's drawn 1. So Liam Wright's going to have to work out a bit of a trip, hopefully just slingshot around the outside. Doesn't need to get the rail, can lay up offside, but he won so easy last time out. He's well in the weights. His other win came at Wolverhampton. The question with the 1 to 2 is I mean, he's going up in trip a little bit, but he's run over this trip course and distance once, and he finished a solid 3rd. That was back in August when he was trained by Stuart Williams. So it suggests that this should be absolutely fine for him. I mean, it's 1 to 2. It's the beginning. If you need the money, I mean, have at it. For me, the main danger is actually Shaheen Sakar for Ed Dunlop, Fred Daly in the irons. This horse has won twice, Wolverhampton and then Chelmsford last time out at the end of June. It was in a similar level race to this, and he was with Early Morning Dew that day. and he stays on quite well from a prominent position, which at Chelmsford you'd like, but also at Kempton you'd like. We've had a lot of rain around. I mean, I think everybody's had a lot of rain, so the track's going to be a bit tighter than it has been in recent weeks. So that should play a bit more to front end speed, just being able to see it out a little bit further into the race, make closing a little bit harder. But this horse is just consistent, hasn't gone up that much. I thought the handicappers given him a real break, only putting up £3 for the win last time out, because I thought it was quite extra. Because I like here is Bralisvola comes to him and he just finds that little bit extra. The competitive, he wants to go and win. Wasn't really hard asked by Jack Mitchell, just wanted to go. So I think he's interesting. And Beau French, he looked very, very fit when James was doing the paddocks. And again, second run off almost a 3-year layoff. And last time when he finished 5th, he ran on soft ground at Goodwood really well for a long way, and just kind of, it seemed to just hit a wall a little bit. But coming off a 3-year break, I know the moors can get them very fit, but I think there is that morning fit versus race course fit, and I think now he'll be much, much fitter today. So that was BBY3 against the field, and those would be the 2 against the odds-on favourite.
Okay, I mean, that's very succinct stuff there, Rach. I actually quite likened Beau French's effort last time to me getting out of my chair after an hour and a half sitting down with my knees a little bit stiff. Not quite the same, I know. Okay, final thoughts then from you, Rach, on likely spin. I assume you're going to go with God of Fire if everything goes right.
Yeah, I mean, it should. It's just the working out the trip from the outside stall, but they do have, as that picture shows you, they have a furlong before they hit the turn.
Yes, they do indeed. God of Fire, still hot favourite here then for Liam Wright and the Kubler team, a winner last time out, looking to follow up in this Apprentice Handicap. Okay, those are the runners down at the start then, and God of Fire is number 1 there, having been a little bit fresh and keen on the way to the post, but has settled nicely down at the stalls. Let's get to the final thoughts then out on track, shall we, from James.
Thank you very much, Tom. Yeah, I hope at your young age that you shouldn't be struggling to get out of the chair already, otherwise it's only going to get worse. But God of Fire is very much a horse on the up, and the Kublers, they do well with their horses they buy, especially at the Tats Horses and Training Sales. And God of Fire was originally a £110,000 yearling. He was a winner for Stuart Williams, 82 at his peak, and the handicap was quite generous actually. He dropped to a mark of 70 when he made his first start for the Kublers. Second at Salisbury, but went 1 better at Beverley on Sunday. It was a pretty convincing winner, and what I liked was that he made most of the running. Those tactics he should be able to adopt today. Moe from stall 1, as Rachel mentioned, is another forward-going individual, but he looks relatively straightforward. I like the angle of running in an apprentice race and having a backup entry already next Monday at Windsor. They have actually got 2 runners in that race, or 2 entries to Kublers. Siempre Arturo, a son of Outstrip, who's been in fantastic form for them, winning 4 of his 7 starts. So they've got a couple of options at Windsor, but it just looks a nice plan going forward. The yard are flying, 6 winners from the last 15 runners, 19 winners on the board already, and they found it a nice race for him. Beau French, you have got that dreaded bounce factor on the back of such a long absence, and I didn't particularly like the head carriage they displayed under pressure. It will be a bit of a test for Anna Gibson, who's got 9 winners to her name, 1 so far this season. Shaheen Sakar, I thought she had a good attitude actually when winning at Chelmsford last time. He's won off 60 and 63, now 66. Jockey on board, Fred Daly. He's had a couple of winners so far. He's attached to the Sir Mark Prescott stable. 1 winner for Sir Mark, well, maybe 2 actually. He won an amateur race on Golden Shot by 30 lengths, his first success. But when you're attached to Sir Mark's yard, you're going to get some good education at that establishment, and he could be well worth his £5 in this contest, Fred Daly. But Liam Wright on the favourite. He rode Dutch Kingdom, lovely race on that horse to win for his boss Darragh Holland yesterday. Of the others, the Bay Warrior for the informed Mark Usher team. He does go well here, but he's just not been in his best of form in recent starts. And Forge Valley Lad, Moab and Early Morning Dew just need to find a little bit more. So all in all, I think it's a nice bit of race planning from the Dan and Claire Kubler team. It could well be a nice buy as well going forward. Quite an expensive yearling. Won his maiden for Stuart Williams, but didn't progress. And the Kublers have bought a well-handicapped horse, and they are trying to exploit that nice mark by running him in an apprentice race this evening. Let's join Ian Bartlett and see how the opener pans out.
And in goes Beau French. So the last one is Early Morning Dew, store number 2. That's it. They are all in. Set. They're off. Coming out of the stalls, Beau French rears, and Forge Valley Lad was even slower away, and they are towards the back very early on. Although Beau French with the orange cap takes a stronghold, moves her into third place. Red Jacket, a favourite, God of Fire, is first past the judge, first time. Moab in green, and a free-going Beau French around the outside of Moab has gone into second place now. The Bay Warrior, diamonds of blue and yellow, is next. Shaheen Sakar, pink sleeves and a dark jacket, is up round the outside. The last two are in green, Early Morning Dew, and in blue and yellow colours, Forge Valley Lad. So got about a mile to go as they run into the back straight. It's a 2-length lead for Liam Wright on God of Fire. Over in second place, Beau French, Anna Gibson with an orange cap. There's a fairly handy gap behind those, about 4 or 5 lengths at least to Moab. Kyan Horgan, green colours running in third, and then Shaheen Sakar and Fred Day is about 3 parts of a length behind him. Tucked up on the rails, the Bay Warrior. Joe Bradnam is next as they move down towards the end of the back straight. The last two then, Forge Valley Lad, Carl McHugh, is up round the outer of Early Morning Dew. Archie Young with mainly green jacket, black and white stripes on the sleeves. So down towards the exit of the back straight they go, still about 2 lengths ahead. God of Fire. Beau French in second position, still 5 lengths or so to the green jacket of Moab. Continues to run in third position. Shaheen Sakar behind this to the Bay Warrior. Forge Valley Lad is next, and then Early Morning Dew. As they come round the crown of the bend, they can see the 3 furlong pole now in the beginning of the run down the straight, and God of Fire still leads. Still no more than 2 lengths ahead. Beau French running in second place. In green colours, Moab in third. On the right, Forge Valley Lad, widest on the course, being preceded now by Early Morning Dew. Shaheen Sakar is with those. The Bay Warrior sticks to the running rail. Inside the final 300 yards, God of Fire, Red Jacket, continues to be in front. Beau French is being joined in second place by the Bay Warrior, is making a good run up against the inside running rail. They've 100 yards to go. God of Fire makes all. Never really challenged. The Bay Warrior home in second place. Beau French behind those in third, and Shaheen Sakar is fourth.
As expected, God of Fire follows up that Beverley success for jockey Liam Wright. 25 winners for Liam. Daniel and Claire Kubler, the trainers, and owners Mythology Bloodstock. Looks a nice buy for £42,000. Back in second, the Bay Warrior, and third was the 3 running Beau French. 11-4 on your favourite God of Fire, and the Kublers certainly found the right race, and Liam Wright executed the tactics quite nicely down the back straight. Although it looked like he got a bit keen, he was only doing sectionals of 12.7, 12.8 seconds. He controlled it around the bend and quickened up the home straight. Sectionals of 11.8, 11.6 in the final 2 furlongs shows you that God of Fire had lots left. Beau French, a bit awkward from the gates, a little bit keen early doors for jockey Anna Gibson. That's not helped him see out his race back in third, but there's races to be won with Beau French if he stays sound. While the Bay Warrior, he won a fist mark back in January over course and distance, and he sets the benchmark for the form, although I do think those in behind didn't have much chance the way the race was run. And all in all, good training performance, a good riding performance, and a well-handicapped horse is God of Fire, Tom Ball.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely. Yeah, it all worked out pretty well, didn't it, for God of Fire? Very easy stuff under that £5 penalty with Liam Wright in the saddle. Good performance all round and fairly easy in the end. Rich Candler is alongside me to have another look at this. Fairly straightforward stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. From stall number 9, God of Fire got away. Beau French drawn right to his inside, sort of half-reared and then effectively bolted once he came down. And then, as is his wont, Forge Valley Lad was very, very slow out of the gate. Interesting to note that the Bay Warrior, who was eventually your runner-up, actually broke on terms today and therefore was sitting in an advantageous position in fourth. They're going to be well distanced from the rest of the field. God of Fire and Beau French in a minute, but that was I thought Joe Bradman did that right, considering that his horse with the cheek pieces off for the first time in a long time today was pulling a cart early on.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really keen on that second run back from a long old absence. Bay Warrior, a fairly long way back compared to the eventual winner, God of Fire, who's got everything his own way.
Well, it was. I mean, I was looking for the green of Moab because he's the other front runner in there, and that's the one thing that you have with potentially apprentice races, is that, you know, they get told their instructions, and they talk to their jockey coaches. There should be, as it's an apprentice race, there should be a jockey coach actually at Kempton today. That from stall 1, where were you? You've taken a front runner back, but I mean, at this point, when God of Fire was getting a loose and lonely, because even Annie Gibson didn't bring up Beau French, was actually using God of Fire to almost try and anchor the horse. It's like, well, there is no excuses from here. This is a paid exercise work. I mean, barely. They just earned $4,000, but it's paid exercise. And, you know, as long as they pull out fine and eats up, I mean, that horse should be on the truck to Windsor on Monday without doubt, and will probably be shorter than he was today.
Well, it's barely even a racecourse gallop, is it, for him? I mean, a good piece of placing, I suppose you could say, from the training team. They're always good at this kind of thing, though, aren't they?
No, exactly. I mean, they obviously bought a very well-handicapped horse. They figured him out quite quickly. He was gelded in the interim, so that might have helped, given how sort of a big, strong horse that he is. A bit sort of strong puller. They've had him 3 runs, second win-win. They've earned about $10,000 with him. I mean, they still have another $32,000 to go before they make up their prize. But as we're sort of getting into the heat and height, well, not the heat, the height of the summer, there's going to be some more expensive handicaps, so, you know, weekends that may not fill. And I don't mean like the Uber ones, but ones at Newmarket, Newbury, that are worth $20,000 versus whatever this is worth $8,000. So bigger pots ahead, and this horse very much looks like they haven't gotten anywhere near the bottom of him yet.
Yeah, completely agree with that. He's climbing the rungs a fair amount of ease. With aplomb even, it's God of Fire, who wins again.